Hello, witches, heathens, magical people. Welcome back to the channel. So we are going to be continuing our witchcraft series today, and today I'm going to be talking about tools. So there's so many different tools that you can use in your practice, and the one thing that I'm going to say over everything else is that you don't need tools. You are the tool, you are the magic, but when you are first starting your practice, tools can make it easier. Tools can help you connect the divine with the physical nature, but don't rely so heavily on your tools that you start to take the power away from you. But I'm going to go through some specific ones that I use. And I like to connect them to the elements. So in witchcraft, we are so connected to earth, we're so connected to the elements, and each tool represents a specific element. Sometimes they can represent more than one element, but I have a tool for each of the elements. So we're going to start with your altar cloths. There are so many different altar cloths that you can get. My coven sister got this one for me. So this is the pentacle, and each point on the star represents a different direction and represents a different point. So you have one for earth, water, air, fire, and spirit. So north is typically where traditional witchcraft says to put your altar. Mine is actually in the fire corner right now. So it really just depends on how you're feeling and grooving with your craft. That's what I love about witchcraft, is that it's so personal to you. You can have it in one corner one day, or you can do it in a different direction the next. Like it's really so mutable and so free formed. Just as we as people change and evolve, your craft will also change and evolve. So on each of the points, they are like the traditional directions: north, south, east, and west. Depending on which craft you're following, for me and my traditional studies, north is earth, east is air, south is fire, and west is water. So it really kind of just depends. Some of those are flip-flopped. Go with what sits right with you. So for north, we can have anything from stones, from herbs, anything that comes from the earth. And that really is representative of the body. It's representative of healing, rooting, grounding. So anything that helps with that. And that direction is also where you find a lot of clarity, the North Star. So whatever kind of jives with you in that realm, go with it. So east is the element of air, and sometimes it is represented by an athame. And athame is a sword, and this can also be representative of air too, or I'm sorry, of fire, because it was forged by fire. But I learned that more athames, because of its slicing through air, I kind of go both hands with it. I go with air and I go with fire. But this is typically what you use to draw down the moon, to point in different directions. So when you are forming a circle or you are cutting a circle, you can either use a wand, you can use an athame, you can use a piece of selenite. However your practice jives with you, that's how it works. So, but I've used this athame in a lot of my rituals, and it just gently goes back in here and it's safe. So I definitely would not take this traveling with you, just in case they ask questions. So if you are traveling and you need to do some magic somewhere else, I would recommend taking either a wand or a piece of selenite. So, okay. And then for Your anointing oil, you can use this as either water or earth. Your anointing oil, this is going to help you to connect with the divine. So I look at it as water is kind of like a conduit, and it helps to align each of your chakras to your specific intention. So before all of my rituals, I will actually anoint each of my chakras with anointing oil. And you can make your own anointing oil. You can do olive oil with frankincense, lavender, myrrh. You can put flowers in it. I have a bit of stones at the bottom of mine, and I like to kind of just, agitate it a little bit to get everything dispersed, but I use this before each of my spells. I also anoint my candles in this because I see it as this. I also charge this under the moon too. So I charge this with the intention of connecting with spirit, connecting with deity. And once I do that, I start to connect it with my body, and the scent from the herbs that you put in there just kind of helps you get there a little bit more, but everything you use with this, you connect with your practice, with your candles. I also sometimes put it on any sort of rolled up paper and allow the flame to take it. So also representative of water is your chalice. So you can use this as offerings. I often use this to give offerings to deities, to my ancestors. You can use mead, wine, water, milk, whatever your deity calls for, but this is definitely representative of water because of the liquid that you put in there. And sometimes it's pretty cool because if you leave it out for your deity or ancestor, you can start to kind of see if it's alcohol, it will start to, kind of evaporate, but you can see it start to go down. And it's like, oh yeah, the spirits are actually taking my offering. That's pretty cool. So another one, this can be representative. I love the cauldron. The cauldron is my absolute favorite, and it is the logo in my business. So cauldron can be, I see it as all of the elements. It's earth, air, fire, water, spirit, because in the cauldron, you typically you can put like a charcoal disc in here, and you can burn herbs, or you can put water in here. So you can see that the flame is fire. The burning off with the charcoal or the incense is air, and you can put the water of moon water or anything in here. And then of course the herbs are earth. So it all is synergistically working together. And it also is, the cauldron is feminine in nature. So this is connecting to healing, to womb healing. It's also connected to the goddess. So typically I'll put the cauldron in the middle of my space to allow that to be the focus. So if you think of, making soup, or you think of, just burning anything in your magical workings, you're going to need a vessel. You need something to hold it. And that's where the cauldron comes in, or, your pot or a bowl or whatever. You're going to need something that is going to be fireproof and also something that's going to be waterproof. And cauldrons are exactly that. So this is my favorite tool out of all of them. And then you have your wand. So this is, typically I see this as fire. So the wand, you can embellish this in whatever it is that you like. You can put runes on it. There's also some that you can buy, and you can get them in, certain stones that you resonate with. There's so many different ornate styles that you can have. Mine, I'm still going to be working with this, but it's just kind of just a piece of wood. And I found this actually when I was going on a walk with my dog. So the craft can be as simple as that. You don't have to do any sort of elaborate things unless you want to. But oftentimes the wands are ash, oak, whatever type of tree or wood really helps you and resonates with you. Willow is also a really good one too. And everything has symbolism, everything has meaning. So those are some very simple ones. There's also bells that you can use to cleanse. Also helps to cleanse a space, and it sometimes can take place of like sage if you can't burn anything. So a lot of people will use that. Incense, of course, those are, I see them as air, but it helps to really kind of move the energy throughout the space. Of course, tarot cards, your oracle cards for divination. There's so much that you can use for that. Your candles. I love to get creative with my workings. And I also like to incorporate a lot of like meditation, and will also use my hair sometimes when I am looking for transformative spells. If I'm trying to release an aspect of myself that I know is not serving me anymore, I will actually pull some of my dead hair out, and I will either burn it or I will wrap it up in a sachet. There's so much that you can do in this path, and it really is so unique to you. And you can find, if you're connected to ancestors, you can see some of the workings in like either the Celtic path, Norse, whatever, Alexandrian, Gardnerian, however it suits with you. But this is how we worship and how we get connected to our ancestors, but also to ourselves. Like, I love the creativity aspect of this, and that's why I also make ritual candles and sprays, because as we sit down with our intentions, we are showing spirit, we're showing ourselves that we are ready to work. We are ready to merge our emotional, physical, mental, and astral selves together. And I see spells as being that. I see spells as kind of like being in a space of church. So I love to go outside. I will go outside and speak. Your voice is so powerful. Your voice, I see it as air, but it can also be fire. So your voice is so powerful to be able to connect. And oftentimes when I first started, I felt like I couldn't, like, it was weird for me to talk. It was weird for me to vocalize and say things. But as I've just gone on, I kind of just let spirit take the reins. It's almost like channeling. I'm like, all right, spirit, I'm here to work. And sometimes I have a kind of like a general idea of what I want to do or what I want to achieve in my craft, but oftentimes they give me the rest of the information. They're just like, all right, like, let's just flow with this. And if I need to tweak it or whatever, like, it's that easy. My spells have become, they're actually become like less intense. Maybe intense isn't the word, but less, they're not as like out there as they used to be. They've actually become more simple, because I believe that my intentions have grown. Like, me as a person, I have grown, and that is more important than anything else that I can do. But I do still work with the moon. I still do spells, especially if I'm really called to something big. So, like, if I'm going to be doing a spell to release my job, or a spell to bring in more prosperity or whatever, I'll start to kind of tweak it around that. And you can use all of your books. I see books as being an air element. So you can see as you move along in your path that you'll begin to broaden your memory bank, and you'll broaden your knowledge. And you'll also find that sometimes you connect with one element a little bit more than the others. I personally love fire, and I love water, and I love earth. I am learning to dive deeper into the air element a little bit more, and that is through learning through reading books, you know, just kind of working on that memory bank a lot more. But you'll see that certain elements you're a little bit stronger at than others, and that's totally fine. It just gives you more opportunity to sink into the elements and learn. So don't overcomplicate it. Really make sure that you are doing whatever it is that you need to do. You can use your Book of Shadows, of course. That's a really big tool. I've had mine since I first started, but don't get so overwhelmed with everything. Don't think that you need to go out and buy, you know, a specific stone for this specific day and this specific herb, or else your spells aren't going to work. It doesn't work like that. As long as your intention is clear and you know what you are trying to manifest, and spirit is like, yes, it is time for them. Because oftentimes we think that we know best, but they do. They have the overall understanding and knowledge a lot more than we do. So that's another thing too, is when you do your spells, make sure that you're doing them for the right reasons. And oftentimes I will say with harm to none, but even now you can accidentally do harm to people. As long as you are not intentionally meaning to do harm, then it is okay. You know, like sometimes your choices harm other people, not directly or not intentionally, but sometimes it does that, you know, and as long as you are not inflicting harm on other people intentionally, then you do you, boo, you know. And then there's, you know, black magic, there's white magic, there's gray magic, there's so much out there, but just the best thing for you to know is to get closer to you, get closer to what feels right in your principles and your practice, and you will be a successful witch. So, but I hope this helped, guys. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, all the things, and put down in the comments what your favorite element is or what your favorite tool is. I would love, love, love to connect with you guys and see what's up in my witchy community. So, all right, guys, blessed be.